Welcome aboard. Join us as we sail around Casco Bay, Boothbay Harbor, Monhegan Island, and Muscongus Bay. We're approaching Seguin Island. This island has a lighthouse that was built in the 1870s, and it stands almost 200 feet above sea level and can be seen for almost 18 nautical miles. During the summer months, a caretaker lives at the lighthouse, and during non-COVID times, they'll take you for tours. And one of the interesting things that you'll learn about is the lens inside the lighthouse. It's a first order Fresnel lens, and that has nothing to do with Star Wars. And it was made in France back in 1856. What really amazed me was that even when the light was powered using oil, the light was still visible for 18 nautical miles. In addition to the lighthouse, there are several miles of walking trails on the island. Some of them will walk by the old railway that was used to pull coal up to power the foghorn. Others meander down by the beach, and there are some that walk by some cobblestone beaches on the backside of the island. So good morning, everyone. We're leaving Seguin Island behind us. Definitely an amazing place. And today we're heading out to Monhegan Island, which is somewhere out there. We're having some lazy sailing here. Got about 6.5 knots of wind, and we're moving along pretty good. 4 knots. Flying the spinnaker up there. And we got about 10 more miles until we get to Monhegan Island. We had some pretty good close-hauled sailing, and what I found was Scott really gets excited, or shouldn't say excited, but he's pretty darn happy once the boat starts heeling over. We found when we hit about 30 degrees, the rail goes down. 35, you start seeing water hit the side decks, and when it goes over just a little bit further, that's when Scott says, "Arg, we got weather helm." So we made it to Monhegan. Harbor. And we're going to take the rubber raft over to the beach where those people are swimming.
That's good. I got the spikes in my shoes here.
Yeah, you got the crampons on?
Crampons.
Alright.
We're ready?
Yeah.
Who's rowing?
I'm rowing.
You're rowing?
Yeah, sit your butt down. Let's do it.
Oh, yeah. This is good shape.
This thing tracks like a freight train. Monhegan Island lies about 12 miles out to sea, and in 1966 it was designated a national landmark for its coastal and island flora. The island has a very small population. In 2000 it was about 69 residents. However, in the summertime the population swells. The island is a mecca for artists, tourists just looking to sightsee, and bird watchers. Even though there is a daily ferry service to the island, visitors are not allowed to bring their cars. The primary and pretty much only mode of transportation once you get here is your own 2 feet. The island is laced with a number of hiking trails, some that crisscross the interior, others that walk along the perimeter, such as this one here, and one walks by an old wreck of a tugboat from the 1930s. What you got there, Scooter?
It's your new engine head.
Love it.
Old Reliable will never run better than with this baby attached to it.
There was a man on the road about an hour ago, and he was looking for a ride to New Mexico. He was shot by way too fast to know. Then we got to the place on a high-speed chase. There was my girl
guys. We're finally doing it.
Finally.
It's been years. We're gonna crash this race over here.
Yeah. That was just like the spell, the evil spell siren that wooed us in. So we kept going towards this bridge, and it's not opening, and it's not opening. Wind and tide are both gushing towards this.
So I spin the boat around, and we had the jib up. And as we spun the boat around,
And the jib sheet, which did not have a stopping knot on the end of it, goes through the fair leads into the water. And Vivi and I both saw it. Vivi's like, okay, I'll get it. And as she goes up to get it, it was instantly, thunk, it wrapped around the propeller, and the engine just stops. Throw down the anchor, and thank God it grabbed.
So your tank. So did you call on the radio to have them open up the bridge and nobody answered?
yeah, no, they answered. They said they would open it. And so now we're there, anchored, with the jib about 3/4 of the way furled up, but just enough to still be luffing, with the jib sheet wrapped around the propeller.
Right.
So I'm digging through the lazarette, pulling out goggles, and meanwhile the Coast Guard comes along. Like, great, the Coast Guard's here. What a coincidence! We're saved, you know. And so the Coast Guard pulls up maybe within 20, 30 feet of us, and they see that I'm getting ready to go swimming.
Right.
And they say, "Sir, we want to see if we can give you some help." I said, "That'd be great. If you could, we're just going. Our dock is right on the other side of that bridge. If you could just tow us there. I'm afraid we can't help you, but we can call sea tow for you." "Sir, are you planning to go in the water? We need to have you not go in the water. It's not safe." "Thank you, Coast Guard, but no, sir. We really insist that you do not get in the water."
So yeah,
If I could do it all over again, I would have jumped in the
would
water.
that have been a good idea to go?
Oh yeah.
After a great afternoon of sailing around Boothbay, we brought the boat back into the harbor, had dinner at a swanky restaurant with Scooter's mom, and then Scooter departed and JD and I set sail the next day.
Good morning, and it is a good morning. We're passing that big hunter back there because it's got lighter wind where it is. And we're just cruising along on a broad reach, perfectly calm water, wind's off the land, and it's really comfortable. A little haze over the sun. It's gonna be a good day. Just need a little more wind to keep that jib full.
And you can see JD is just lounging in the shade back there. So this may look familiar to some of you. This is the Audubon Society on Hog Island. And this is where we did, or at least I had my first 2 small reach regattas. JD's doing CPR on our dinghy. Second chamber is now filled, working on the third.
My God, Finn! You're filming in the middle of this, was it small craft advisory? Concentrate!
How's it sailing today, sir?
Ah, great. High seas with gentle giant rollers.
Oh my. To spinnaker or not to spinnaker? That is the question. And I say, let her fly. We've made it to the basin. It's in Casco Bay, and this is the hurricane hole du jour if you live in this area. It's also the place everybody goes on Saturday night to hang out. Well, I'm back at Seguin Island, sort of halfway between Boothbay and Jewell, and it's a little bit rollier than it was the last time we were here with Scooter. You can see some of the waves breaking just outside the mouth of the harbor on that reef, and they wrap around ever so nicely. So we're cooking dinner tonight, and as you can see, it's a little roly-poly here at the anchorage, so it helps to have a stove that can rock and roll with the waves. I didn't sleep a whole heck of a lot last night because of the rolling, but we had a beautiful morning today to leave Seguin Island and head over to Jewell Island. This is one of the sites on the cliff overlooking the anchorage. And here's another site on the south end. And if you come in before the tide goes all the way out, you have a pretty nice landing. And these folks come in almost every weekend. At high tide, they bring the boat here. The tide runs out. They spend the night, and when the tide comes back in, they leave. During the summertime, it's not uncommon to see 20, 30, 40, even 50 boats anchored and rafted up here in this small harbor. There's plenty to keep you busy on Jewell Island, but for me, my favorite part of the day is when the sun goes down and I can sit back, relax, and enjoy the view. This amazing trip is drawing to an end, but I was fortunate to share it with such good friends. However, before the season is over, I was able to squeeze in one more weekend sailing with my brother, and we met up with David, a fellow Rob Roy owner.
We're sipping beers and there's a man telling stories about his inner fears. We was all choked up, too close to tears. Well, then we moved on up to some margaritas. I started making faces at my senorita, playing drinking games. They were all too drunk to eat of it. Now my car broke down. How were we going? We were headed on down to New Mexico, but where we did not see the gas was low.
And so ends another magnificent season of sailing. See you on the water next year.